there should be a video. There it is. Look at that.
Look, we're fancy.
Little time lapse as we go.
Camera, right? Okay.
That was me. We're live. That's later. I'll be riding the.
Are you gonna go to Disney?
No, I was thinking about going to Disney. I don't think I realized how close Disney World Land. Sorry to the Disney people.
Let's go Disney.
How close Disney was. It's like 100 yards away.
Yeah.
As we're live at CSM. Eric Fernandez from Hyperice. Appreciate you taking time out.
Appreciate you having me.
Your booth is never slow because you've got great, touchable, wearable, tryable things.
That's for sure.
Less than a year ago, I never got to really ask this, but you have the Hyperice Nike crossover collab.
Should I like run with the camera?
Yeah,
and bring it back.
We'll bring it back.
A little late for that, huh?
People have seen it. I'll put the link on there. If you haven't seen it, just Google Nike Hyperice shoe. Yeah. And I think you told me, but how long does something like Nike doesn't let the swoosh go anywhere unless like 78 steps are checked and cross-checked, and
there's a lot of steps.
So how long does something like that?
I mean, it was about 3 years in development.
Okay,
right.
That's even longer than I thought.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's a high-top shoe that has Normatex dynamic air compression therapy built into it, along with our electric heating technology. So you get heat and compression therapy on like the ankle and Achilles complex.
On a wearable shoe.
On a wearable, you can go, you can dance, you can run, you can do whatever you want. It's awesome. It is very much like a performance, wellness, self-care product. You'll never see it in a clinic. That's not what it's meant for, of course. But really cool piece of tech. And, you know, funny aside, I almost shouldn't say this, but it's a live stream. We're having fun. So, right, like you want to know the origin. Forever, we want to build a performance, tech-enabled shoe with Nike. And for a long time, I think they were like, I don't think we want that. And they had something else they wanted us to build, a heating and cooling vest, temperature controlling for their athletes. And we were like, we can do it, but we really want to do this shoe. We went to this very small, intimate prototype meeting with like a couple of their highest end athletes and their innovation people, private summit. And we had mocked up the shoe. We almost weren't supposed to have like brought it. It was so like the battery pack was like taped to the back of the calf. Like
it's prototype, man. It's just got to hang on for the meeting.
And the shoe stole the show. Like athletes wouldn't give it back. They were obsessed. And then it was just iteration and iteration after that. And 3 years later, now we have it.
And then, like, what do? You wait a year, and then you come out with, like, color or something? Like, you got to do a twist. Like,
we got more stuff coming. We're not done.
I was on the ramp getting on the airplane to fly here, and the guy in front of me had high-top Nike's Wu-Tang Clan, like, limited. And I'm not a sneaker head or anything, but I respect. And I was like, my man, those must not have been easy to get. Like, those had to be insane to get. That's what you want. Like, now, I just saw the other day, you have the orange.
Yep, that was an Olympic special product.
And I don't know why I want them more, but I do because they're orange.
And because you can't get them.
Because you can't get them.
There is no amount of money you could offer me, man, that will get you a pair.
Oh, so it's just the Olympic athletes.
Just for like 50 Olympic athletes.
That's cool.
Limited run, special edition.
That's fun. All right, so let's get spicy.
Okay,
you're
spicy.
You're the last live stream of the day.
Okay, so you've like behaved yourself long enough, and now we can just be ourselves.
I'm four steps away from the hotel bar and going to dinner and then I'll come back tomorrow and we'll do it all again.
We'll do it all again.
Everything's great.
Isn't that lovely?
Why is Outpatient PT in a race to the bottom right now?
Oh, all right, that's a loaded question. Shots fired. So here's the thing, right? Outpatient is one of the most cost-effective ways to manage your long-term care. We know that. The data is so clear.
All over.
Yet it's like the bottom of the funnel. It's kicked to the side. Like there's so many challenges. Everybody knows the X, right? Reimbursements are going down. Cost of doing business is going up. And I think the challenge is nobody wants to break out of the model. So we're all looking for efficiencies, right? So AI, everything in your life these days. And AI is amazing. There are so many things that it's bringing to the space, right? In terms of efficiency of like your notes and documentation and being more personalized. There's so many things. But all we're doing is squeezing efficiency into a model that doesn't work. So in my mind, it's like we're changing the Band-Aid, right? Versus actually triaging and fixing the problem. And so it has its place. But, you know, if we just think we can keep hammering in the same direction we've always been going, that's the definition of insanity, right? You know, like how do we expect the equation to change?
So what would or what could or what should the clinic, the outpatient ortho clinic in 10 years look like? And then spoiler alert, whoever does that now has the first mover advantage. But like, what do you envision a clinic in 5 or 10 years looking like?
Look, I think there's always going to be diversity, right? Like a hospital-based system, a large corporate PT, your private practice, they're all going to be different, of course. But I think at the end of the day, there's high-level changes. And the first one is, let's stop calling them patients.
Ooh.
They're consumers. At the end of the day, your patients are consumers, right? And it's like, we all choose to spend our money where we perceive value, right? And, how many times have you heard from a therapist, my patient can barely afford their copay or X, Y, and Z? And I never want to minimize people's individual financial situations, right? Hardship is real. But people invest their time and their money, typically their two most precious resources, where they perceive value. And I think if we don't start thinking about them as consumers and looking at consumer behavior and consumer choice, we're not going to solve the equation. A lot of people now are talking about, PT being the primary care of MSK.
Right.
I believe in that model. That's how I interact with my therapist and my trusted care team. There's no reason why your PT shouldn't be the quarterback. But I think if you're going to be the quarterback, one, you have to figure out how to interact with the other disciplines and the other areas of health and wellness. And I think you have to provide services and solutions to consistently meet the patient's need. I've said this a lot lately, but my need as a 41-year-old who still tries to play men's league hockey with a bunch of 22-year-olds,
you
know what I mean? And everything else I do, my need's going to go up and down over time, but it's consistent and it's going to go up.
Sure.
And I think too often, you see clinics that are really, really good at providing care. They care terribly. They're great at the pinnacle of need, right at the peak of the wave. And as we go down to the trough, that's where we fall off. That's where patients don't complete. They don't come to their last couple visits. They don't stick with maintenance programs. We also haven't designed, for the most part, services to give them a way to stay connected.
A life cycle.
Right. But I think if we can crack that trough, then you've won. And I think it's just you need cash-based revenue. You need retail services, right? You need to be really efficient on billing. You need the remote monitoring. You need all of it. You know what I mean? There's not one silver bullet, but if we don't start moving in that direction, I don't know. And it's like DME. It's a race to the bottom,
right?
Is
this a good moment? I feel like, we go through cycles. We go through eras, just like Taylor Swift. I feel
Which era are we in now? The getting married era?
Right. But I feel like the era is and we always take it to the extreme, right? We're doing, we're shoving coffee where coffee doesn't belong to feel better.
I know what that is. There's a name for that.
There is a name for that. I'm not sure why we're putting coffee there. But we're in the moment where people are like...
It's decaf, right?
It's decaf. But we're in the moment now where people are like, okay, I'm going to invest in the health and wellness era. Yeah. And of course, there's good, bad, and indifferent. But we're in that. Isn't PT sort of poised to be a good beacon for that? We have the real estate. We have clinics in your communities. We have relationships.
Isn't it the best position?
Yes. I would say yes.
The best, the skill set that
so are we just medicalizing this instead of leaning into it? Or are we saying, well, actually, which is the worst two words? No one wants to hear, well, actually.
Allegedly, apparently. Yeah.
According to the literature.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I think that's the challenge, right? And there's a challenge in terms of educating our therapists in terms of, what is the continuum of care, right? What is the more holistic approach?
Right.
I think it's what are your services? But I mean, look, the trend is really, really clear on wellness. The money just keeps going up. People are pouring more and more money into it. And why is somebody spending $120 for a stretch session, right? Why is somebody paying, personally, a whole lot of money for my Lifetime Fitness membership?
Right.
I prioritize it. It helps in the health and wellness. We also have to remember, I'm 41. I'm getting older, right? My younger cousins, the next generation, they're coming up. They want this. You know what I mean? So I think if we base our model around what worked 10 years ago, that community is aging out.
Correct.
Understand
what people value.
Yeah.
They value, and we mentioned before, you vote with your time and your money.
Yeah.
You know this because you sell things. You listen to, Hyperice is not going to create something for it to sit on a shelf. It's not how you work.
Right.
I mean,
that doesn't get us anywhere.
What amount of time worth of research is done before you even make a new anything or a change to something or add a feature? You're not doing that, in no time. You're putting time and effort into understanding what people are looking for.
Totally. And I think what you're seeing from a health and wellness trend, you see this, that's the other thing, right? We have to look outside of what has been our narrow focus. If we ignore learnings from the fitness industry, from hospitality, right? If we think cryotherapy is just this weird thing or stretch is this weird, we can't. One, we have to learn from those and to see what people are responding to and what people are asking for.
I took heat because I asked a question because Stretch Labs, right, which is a franchise or other things or spinoffs, and PTs were saying, well, actually, and I remember just saying, I asked a question. I was like, are you mad they're doing it or are you mad they're doing it better than you?
Right.
Are you mad that they thought about it? Well,
both.
They're just buying this thing. I'm like, they are super transparent on what they're selling. You will be stretched for 45 minutes. You will pay me this. And people show up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, my man. The expectation and the reality are met. And that's when people walk out feeling great. They just gave someone money because they got more than they put in.
Yeah.
And it's ambiguous when you go to a PT. What it'll cost? What am I getting? Am I here for a week, or is this a ongoing thing forever?
Right.
Expectation meets reality. And if it's misaligned, that's when people feel robbed. That's when people don't show back up because they don't understand, where am I on this journey?
Totally. I mean, like, one of the best PT experiences I ever had was with this guy, Mike Silva, who's like become one of my personal group. Mike's amazing, right? Like, patient experience guru, amazing therapist, amazing business leader, growth coach, etc. But like, I was running into some knee pain issues. I was training for a half marathon, and he invited me down to his house and like treated me in his private treatment space. And sure, he was doing me a favor. He took like an hour and a half of his time, but I have never been so thoroughly diagnosed. He knew what I was in for, but he looked at the whole body. He looked at everything. And he clearly said, here's what we need to do to get you back on track. But here's what you need to be thinking about for 6 and 12 months down the road. Here's what you need to be thinking about for the next 5 years based off your age. Like, it was amazing. It gave me such a clear roadmap.
You understood. Right. That was a good, it's a way to understand and make sure that they're, I always say one of my soapboxes is the goal of communication is not to have communicated. It's to achieve understanding.
Yes.
And just because I said something one way, Michael could have said, well, you're going to need this. If he saw the look in your eye, like, I don't think he gets it. Or do you understand that? Say it back to me. Like, explain that to me. I just want to help. I'm going to make sure I'm on the same page. If you walked out of there without being clear, everything's ambiguous. And there's there's no wonder people don't. If I hear it again, like, people don't understand what we do. How good are you explaining it? Yeah. Well, it's the APTA's job. I got news for you. The APTA is a professional association where professionals associate. We're the profession. That's not outside. Someone the other day was arguing on Facebook how APTA needs to do a national ad campaign to get patients. And I was like, I don't think they should. That's not what they're built for. They're not built for that. They're built for professional associations.
Right.
That's what they are. Right. Understand what that is.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, look, there's so many challenges there we can unpack. There's also just so many opportunities. But you said something there that's key, right? If I'm going to wait for somebody else to solve the problem for me, I'm going to be last. It ain't going to work out. Like, correct. There's more patients out there than the industry will ever have the bandwidth to care for.
Yep.
And so if we actually think about that for a second, then let's think about who we're going after. Like, I get it. As a healthcare professional, therapists want to help everybody. They don't care about demographics. They don't care about income levels, ability to pay, et cetera. But you can't deliver care unless the dollar and cents works. Correct. And if your P&L is in the red, you're going out of business.
Correct.
You know, and so you have to be comfortable charging what your value is and setting a value and creating a value. That's the other thing too, right? Like, is a 45-minute stretch worth $120?
Depends on who's doing it and how I feel when I'm leaving.
They put the money up and people will come for it.
Correct.
You know? And so again, I think it's like we have to challenge everything appropriately because the existing model, man, it's not working for a lot of people. And like, look how many companies are here trying to recruit every possible kid they could coming out of school, right? Like, nobody can attract, retention, burnout, all the buzzwords. You know what I mean? It's not that people are doing bad business. It's not that leaders don't care. The model needs to be rebuilt.
If it's right, the system is perfectly designed to get the result it gets. Yep. If you don't like the result it's getting, it's not the world, it's the system you're in. And I know it's bad and it's hard to change, but if you don't, you're not going to have a job or a clinic in 3 to 5 years. A lot of these things aren't going to exist.
Totally. You know, there's people out there doing it well. There's models that are working. There's people making that change. You know, who's going to be first? Who's going to follow? Who's going to figure out how to adapt it on a system level? Those are all. The
one that hurts is when someone told me there are people stupider than you making more money than you. And I'm like, oh, shit.
That doesn't even hurt because I know it's true.
It is true. As soon as you go, no, it's not. I go, dude, someone invented a pet rock, dude. Like, it's dumb.
Remember the Chia Pet?
Chia Pet.
Oh, I mean, all of them.
Snap bracelets. You're more likely to overthink it than you are to underthink it.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that happens?
You try again.
Because if you do nothing, it's inevitable that this will not work out.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll ask: what's an uncomfortable truth owners need to hear right now in 2026? An uncomfortable truth. I mean, we said some uncomfortable truths.
Yeah, I feel like we've said some uncomfortable truth. I mean, I think it really is that the model's not not
you
working.
You can yell at insurance companies all you want. I got news for you. They're not listening.
They don't care.
They're not going to change. Facebook comment section is not where things get changed.
No.
You either do it differently or you die. I'm very sorry to be blunt. That's what I think. Prove me wrong.
I just think, look, here we go. You're absolutely undervaluing yourself and your services, and you're not willing to change. And if you're not willing to change, what do you expect to happen?
And you're going to get what you deserve.
Change can be scary, or change can be exciting, right? Like every problem is actually an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's the mindset. It's how we approach it. It's how we attack the problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just take a step. Like we say this all the time, right? There's not a silver bullet. There's not one Hyperice solution you can buy or a solution from any company in this room that you can buy that's going to fix it. But take a step, man.
Right.
Let's try something different. Fall on your face. Like, again, you just got to get out there and do it.
All right. Last thing we do on the show, we call it the parting shot.
This is the parting shot. One last mic drop moment. No pressure. Just your legacy on the line.
Pressure here, Eric. What do you want to leave with the audience? Parting shot. What do you got?
Hawaiian pizza is the best pizza on the planet.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about that.
Hawaiian pizza is the best pizza on the planet.
I agree with you. I like it.
Also, I think it's a Canadian invention. So then there's maybe some geopolitical
I can see that.
angles there. I don't think the best bagels come from New York City.
All right. Where do they
I think North Jersey, Bergen County.
Okay.
Close, but different.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have heard of Hyperice, a percussion gun, Normatec, any of our stuff, or even stuff that looks like us, and you think it doesn't belong in your PT clinic, come find me.
All right.
Let me prove you wrong or prove me wrong. If you can prove me wrong, I will absolutely buy you a Hyperice tool you're choosing.
There we go. Eric Fernandez of Hyperice. Thanks for stopping by the live stream studio.